This video is brought to you by Remitly. Send money from Canada to 100 plus countries faster and more securely with Remitly. Get a $10 discount on your first transfer of $100 with this code. Link in the description. Download the app now. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So in this video we're just gonna see the basic tutorial of After Effects. I'll just show you guys like how to start and how it works and everything. Into like more specific topics, like I'll keep posting videos like after this, but this video is just gonna be like a very basic introduction. So if you're like a complete beginner, you don't know anything about After Effects or anything, so I think this should be like useful for you. So please do like, share, comment on the video, subscribe to the channel, and also don't forget to press the bell icon so I can post more videos. So let's not wait, we'll start the tutorial. So I'm just gonna go ahead and open After Effects. So I'm using After Effects 2022. You can pretty much use like any version you want. It's not gonna be like much of a difference. It's just that like the newer versions, like they have much more like new effects and new features. But as like a specific thing, just to learn the basics, I think you can just use like any version. So yeah, once we open After Effects, we're just gonna see this screen. So this is like the basic interface of After Effects. So this is how it looks like when it's plain empty. We haven't like imported anything or we didn't do anything. This is just like the basic workspace. This is where you're gonna work. So before I jump into anything, like I'll just show you guys just like the window panel. So this is basically called a workspace. So if you go to window workspace, you have so many different types of workspace which you can use for specific things which you're gonna do in each project. So right now we're in default. I usually don't change this at all. I usually, no matter what I do in After Effects, I just keep this as the layout. But but you can go to like suppose if you're gonna do like animation, it just changes like the setup a little bit, not a huge. Or if you're gonna do like effects, like it's not like a huge change, but it's just something that's there which you can use. Coming to the interface, like we have 4 different parts in After Effects, so 4 different windows. So I'll just start from the left here. We have 2 tabs in this. One is like the project, where you actually import files. So like whatever you import, it comes here. So that is like the project panel. And we have like effect controls. So effect controls is something that it basically just shows you like the settings of any effects you apply to any of the layer. So I'll just show you I'll just show you what it means in like when I come this side. But yeah, this is like the main composition footage like area. This is where you see the video or anything you're doing. So this is like the display area. And we also have like another tab called footage, and we'll also have another tab called layer. So I'll show you guys what those things mean when after we import. And after that, to the right, we have this. We have like so many different tabs here. It's basically like each one shows like info. So if you just click a layer or any footage, it shows the info of the footage, like what's the resolution and what's the frame rate and all those things, and also shows like the color values. And audio is like just the audio levels when you're playing. Preview is something that once you finish your comp, you can maybe like play it just like that, or you can like cache it and then like play it in real time, and all those things are there. Effects and presets, it's place where you get like transitions, video effects, audio effects, and all those stuff. We'll be using this a lot, this tab. So what happens is like if you add anything from here to any layer, if suppose like you add like anything like like a blur or something, and if you add it to this layer, the settings of the blur is gonna be visible here. So anything you add from here, you're gonna adjust it here. So that's the effect controls and effects panel. And then like library is something that I've never used it, because you can just save your projects like online on cloud. And character is basically like text settings, so you can add a text. And I think this is like very similar to like Photoshop. You would have seen this if you have used Photoshop. This and the paragraph stuff, like both are very similar to Photoshop. And tracker is the stuff like where you track a shot. You use this tab to like track a shot. I'll show you guys more when I do a video on like how to track. And content aware fill is again it's basically like removing unwanted stuff from your footage, but this is more like a AI based thing. It does it like automatically. You just show like what you want to remove and it tries to remove it on your own. So we use that. I'll also show you this on a separate video, like how to use this. But yeah, that's pretty much it on this panel. So we'll be using this a lot for now. And bottom is the timeline and the layers. So if you have used Photoshop before, I think you will have an idea of how layers work. That's just the same idea here. It's just like Photoshop is for photos and this is for like moving footage. That's the only difference. And two things combined, like if you're someone who had used Photoshop and Premiere, you can see like this is something that is combined both like Photoshop and Premiere, because this plays like usually Premiere it has the timeline and Photoshop it has the layers, but this has both the layers and the timeline. So and you can also see like on the top here, most of these tools like you would have seen it in Photoshop too. So a lot of stuff are like very similar. So yeah, this is like the layers panel. You see like every layer you place, it's going to be visible here, and it's going to show each layer as like a bar here. And this is like the timeline. So whenever you import a footage, we're gonna see like the time. So that's pretty much it for the interface. This is the basic interface of After Effects. So let's go ahead and like import a footage now, and so that it makes more sense. So we're gonna import a footage now. So just to import a footage, we go to the project panel. We have like two different ways to do it. You can either go to file, import and file, or multiple files, or there's another thing called like import Adobe Premiere Pro project, but I'll show you guys later. I don't have like a specific setup for that right now, but yeah, as we go into this tutorial, like more complicated stuff, like I'll show you what happens. Yeah, so right now we can just do like import file, or you can just double click here and we get the folder, so Explorer. So I'm just gonna import like random footage. So we imported a footage, like this is just a stock footage I took, and you can see like once you imported, this is like a 4K footage and shows the length of the footage, frame rate, the colors, the audio, sample rate and everything. So that's the details of the video. So yeah, once we have it here, it shows shows the in point and the out point, like all those are just like size and all those things. So to bring it here, we can do it like two ways, but before that I'll show you guys what is actually a composition. A composition is basically like a project, so like a sequence or project. It's equal to a sequence in Premiere Pro, if you know Premiere Pro, but basically it's like a project. So what you can do is you can either click new composition here. It's going to open up this tab, which basically asks you to put in all the details. So now it says like HDTV 1080 29.9 sound, so it's like 30 frames. So if you pull this down, you're gonna see like lots of different settings, like NTSC, PAL and all. Like we don't use it anymore right now because it's like older tech. We don't need this anymore. This is when we had like those older TVs, but yeah, we can use all this. And even 720 I don't think anyone is using. The basic would be like HT 1080 25 or HDTV 1080 25 or 24 25 and 30. So usually I don't see many people like using 25. 24 is what they use for film, for movies, and 29.97 is what they use for like YouTube videos or anything that comes on like television. It's 29.97. And we also have like UHD 4K, Cineon and film 2K 4K. These are stuff which we won't use a lot if you're just going to use for like personal projects. Like Cineon and film, these resolutions are like different. They're like it's more related to like IMAX and those kind of stuff. We don't really need that. You can see like it's all these are like 4K resolutions, but like the aspect ratio is a little bit different. So when they shoot with like maybe like Red or Arri, like those kind of cameras, those are stuff like related to Cineon or like film, but we don't use this. We usually use like for my YouTube videos I use like UHD 4K 25. So this is like the general 4K resolution which you see it in YouTube. So what you can do is, suppose if you want a project in like UHD 4K, you can just select that, and you can adjust the frame rate, and you can adjust the duration of the project, like how long you want it. You can always adjust it like later, but just to start you can just put like a time here. Yeah, that's pretty much it. And you can either do that, or because we already have a 4K footage, if you just want the comp also to be the same size as the footage, and this is going to be like your base footage and you're just going to add stuff on top of this, what you can do is like you can just drag this and put it on the little icon here, or I think you can even put it on here. Yeah, so you can just drag it and put it here, and it automatically creates like a new composition. And it says like video here, so this is like a composition, and you see the layer here, the video, and this is like the timeline. So this bar, it lasts, so I think the video is 52 seconds, so we have like till 52 seconds, and this is like the timeline, and this is the layer. An alternate way to bring this is, I'm just gonna delete this, and alternate way to bring this is like double click this is gonna open up here. So this is, you see here it says footage, so, and this is our composition, this is like our main area where we're going to work, and this is just showing us the footage here. So suppose if you just want like 5 seconds of this, like you can just go here, click the in, and go here, click the out, and basically you can just do this and it just comes here, and you can basically like place your playhead anywhere and then hit that button. It's just gonna insert it wherever you want it. So that's also like a better way if you just want like specific parts of footage, like you don't want to import the entire footage. So that is another way to import. And so yeah, but for now I'm just going to import the entire footage. And also you can just drag this anywhere here, but make sure it, like if you want it like centered, make sure it just lines up. And because I already set the in and out, it's just still giving me the same range. What we have to do is we have to go there, and then like just have to go there and reset the in and out, and then import that. So yeah, so once we import the footage, it's going to be visible here. You can see the footage here, you can see the layer here, and you can see how long it is. And you also see this green thing which is going. This is basically the cache. I'm just gonna show it for like an example. Like usually we don't I don't use like audio in After Effects, like but just to show you guys. As you can see, like it plays like pretty smooth here, but once I go beyond this green thing, you can see like it gets pixelated because this part is not cached yet, and usually it doesn't go a lot unless you have like lots of RAM. That's the reason like why After Effects needs so much of RAM to get like cached. See, it's still again it's caching now again, but the part which is like under the green, if you play it, it's gonna play smooth. And if wherever you don't have it, if you just go and play there, it's just not gonna play. It's gonna be hard. So you can see like if you go here and see the info, I'm gonna play it here. It says like 23.9 something's real time, but if I go beyond this, it shows in red. It's only playing in like 10 frames or 9. It goes like, it gets lower and lower. It's not real time because it's caching. So this caching thing is like kind of important when it comes to like working in After Effects, but it's gonna get like real heavy like once you go beyond a point. So now that we imported the footage, and you guys know how to import a footage, so what we're gonna see is like how the layers work, and we'll also try to manipulate the image a little bit using like some effects, and we'll also add some text now. So now that we imported this footage, so we're just gonna see what we can do to manipulate this. So I'm just gonna show you the layers panel here first. So this is like the layers panel. Let's import another footage so that I can show you like how layers work. So I'm just gonna import just a random footage here, and I'm just gonna bring it over. As you can see, like this is like a HD footage. That's a 4K footage. So because our comp size is 4K, this is just gonna be in like smaller, but we have another layer on top now, you can see. So this is how layers work. So if this goes below, it's like behind that, and that's how layers work in every application. And you can see like this is only 15 seconds, and so we only have it till there, but if you want to move it, you can just move it anywhere and keep it. And so that's how layers work, and you can have like number of layers, and it gets very complicated as you start doing complicated stuff. So yeah, you need to like manage this area and make sure you rename everything, and keep it properly so that you don't every time click and see which is what. So it's better to rename all these things. So that's pretty much how layers work, and now we'll see like how we can manipulate an image. Okay guys, so let's now see how we can manipulate any footage. So what we can do is, I'm just gonna delete this footage on top. So we're just gonna use this footage as the base. So just to manipulate, what we can do is we're just gonna go to the effect controls, and we're gonna choose any effect. So for now, let's just start with a color correction. So what I'm gonna do is, once you like go to this color correction tab, you can see like there's so many of these. You don't have to use like all of these. So I usually just use like curves, and what you can do is you can just either drag it and put it on top here. But if you have too many layers here, it's better if you just put it on the layer. So once you do that, you get the settings here, interface of curves. I don't know how many of you guys know curves, but it's basically like a color correction tool. It has everything in it. So we have RGB, which is just gonna adjust our brightness and contrast. So, and then we can even go and adjust like individual channels here. So what I'm gonna do is, and how curves work is, like we have this grid and we have a line, and we have like 2 points. So this end is the shadows, and this end are the highlights. So anything between is just gonna go from shadows to highlights. So if I click this, and if I move this point, you can see it reduces the highlights completely and goes black. And if I go this way, it increases the highlights and goes completely blown out. So we're basically adjusting the highs, and if I drag this, we're reducing the darks, but we can still see the highlights. And if we go this way, it's just gonna blow up the image again. Like it's just gonna lift the image, increase the gamma, and then like everything gets washed out and it goes to white. So that's how curves work. It's kind of complicated when it's new, but I usually use this. But so what we're gonna do is, I'm just gonna take like a good frame. So yeah, if we have this, I'm just gonna probably first, I usually do is just click a point in the middle and then bring it down. This is gonna reduce the midtones. So I feel like these highlights are pretty blown out, so I'm just gonna put a point near the highs and then reduce that. But always during curves, when you're using curves, it's better not to adjust it like very drastically, because it will spoil the image. As you can see, you can only adjust like a little bit, and I don't think I need to adjust the darks. Let's see. Okay, I think this is good. And you can just turn this off and on here. So I've done like the correction of like brightness and all those things, but let's kind of do like a color. So let's make it like a warm day. So what I'll do is I'll go to the blue, and then I'll bring down the blue so it becomes more yellowish, and then I go to the red, increase the red, not a lot, just a little bit, probably. So you can see the difference now. I like this specific kind of look. I usually do it in all of my videos, like these kind of looks, because this is way too bluish according to me. But yeah, we can do color corrections, and this is one thing. So this is just like one adjustment we have done, and you know, as you go, you can even add like another one. Let's just add like a, let's add like a vignette. I think they have vignette. Yeah, they have. So vignette is nothing. It you've seen this like in like Instagram and stuff, like it's just basically like a filter, right? So it just darkens the outer edges. So that's basically called vignette. And yeah, you can, once you add that, you can see like the settings come here. It has like amount, angle of view, it has a center. So if you click the pivot, you can use it wherever you want. So I'm just gonna keep the car as a center, so other parts get like darker. So we can do like stuff like that, and you can just turn off whichever you want here, and it happens stuff. And even here the layers kind of work. So I have put like curves and then vignette, but if you put this on top, the result changes here. So what it does is like it darkens it and then it applies the color correction. But if we do this, it applies the color correction and then it darkens. So you can see here the result changes if you change it. So the layer stuff also work here, not just here. So when you add effects, make sure like you add it in a proper layer, you know. Right now it doesn't matter, but once we do like lots of color correction and stuff, it's better to layer it in a proper way. So right now we have this color correction, right? So what I'm gonna do is like I'm gonna show you like, and one other important thing with After Effects is animation. Like without animation you cannot really do anything with After Effects. Animation is like really common and really popular with After Effects. When it comes to Photoshop, like it's just a single frame, right? So you don't have to keep changing something throughout. So but when it comes to like a moving footage, I'm just gonna take it like from 15 to 25 seconds. Oh no, I'll take it from like 10 to 20 seconds. So what happens is, because let's, for an example, like I'll keep it here, and we have the vignette is centered on the car. So just to make it more obvious, I'm just going to reduce the area even more, so we only see the car, but I want this to follow the car. How we can do that? So what we can do is, if you see any setting here, any setting will have this kind of a clock here. So this clock is basically called keyframe. So keyframes are what is used for animating stuff. So what we're gonna do is, we're just gonna make this center follow the car. So to do that, I'm just gonna click the clock here next to this center, and it turns blue. It means that there is a keyframe on this. But how do we can just do it like visually. So at 15 seconds, this is here, but if I go to 10 seconds, the car is here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move this and keep it here. I'm just going to go to 20 and then like bring it here. Now if I just move it, you can see like it goes along with the car. You can even adjust it a little bit, like according to how fast the car moves. So as you can see now, like it's moving along with the car. But how did I do this? Because we didn't actually see anything. I just clicked this and then did it. But what if you want to adjust this? You know, you can again like visually go and adjust, but you won't really know. And keyframe is basically, as the name says, it's for every frame. So I just randomly kept it here. I kept like 3 keyframes, like one at 15, one at 10 and one at 20, but I won't really know at which frame I kept it, because it's really hard to like move one frame here. So to do that, what we can do is, you can see the settings of any layer here, but also if you click the arrow next to this, you get like certain settings here. So one is the transform. Transform is basically moving the footage, X, Y, and then scaling it, and then rotation. That's like normal opacity. So these are like the 5 basic settings of transform, and we can even manipulate this with like keyframes. So you know, we can make it like keep scaling down or move from here to there or whatever, you know. But if we go to FX, we see here we have both curves and vignette. It's also visible here. And if you see on the right here, we see 1 2 3 4 points. So we have kept like 4 keyframes here. So to adjust that, we cannot directly click this circle. To adjust that, we need to even go inside, and then you can see the center here, it's turned blue, and we have this kind of, what do you call it, like a diamond. That is basically like the symbol of a keyframe in After Effects. So we can basically move to the next keyframe from here. So it exactly goes and stops in where the keyframe is, and you can only select this diamond, not when it's closed like this. You cannot select these circles. It only shows that there are keyframes here. But to adjust this, you need to go inside and select this diamond. So what you can do is, now you clearly know like where you have keyframes. So to adjust this, maybe like I come here, I don't want it here, I want it here, I can just drag and move this here. So that's how you basically animate stuff, and you can put like hundreds of keyframes here and then like animate everything. And you can literally, you know, put a keyframe for like literally anything, and it all comes here. And it gets like very complicated as it goes, like, you know, once you start manipulating everything. But yeah, this is like the basic keyframe stuff, how you animate stuff. You know, you animate with keyframes no matter which application you use. Even like in Nuke and like other stuff, even in Premiere Pro, you have these keyframes. Anything you want to animate, it is done using these keyframes. And you can just if you want to move everything, like, you know, a little bit later, you just like drag and select everything, move all those together, and it like reflects here. So that's like the most important thing about After Effects is like animation and animating with keyframes. So now that we have like we have seen like how to animate keyframes, so the next thing we'll see is how to insert a text. And as you said, as I showed you before, we have the character settings here. But to insert a text, we can either click the text tool here and then click here. It creates a separate text layer, and it shows the typing thing. So you can just go and type like anything you want. So you can do that, or you can just hit like Control T. It changes to like text tool, and you click and you type whatever you want. And to bring it back to like the normal selection tool, the shortcut is V, so that you can select, and you can basically like move it anywhere. It's basically just like the transform settings. And as you can see, we have the Mustang text layer as a separate layer, and anything in red is a text layer. And you can also go inside this and go to transform and animate like all these transform stuff. And we have like different fonts here. We can adjust the size, and I think this is very similar to Photoshop. Like you can make it bold, italic, just like basic stuff. And one other thing, what we can do is, just like how it animates here, we're just gonna just do a simple animation with like opacity or like scale. So what we can do is like, we'll do both scale and opacity now. So I've kept the playhead at like 10 seconds. We'll click both scale and opacity, so we get like keyframes on both. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna go to 15. So basically I want it to be let's just move it here. So I want it to be like this on 15. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna insert another keyframe here, and then come back to 10, and maybe just scale it down a little bit. and change this to 0. So if you play now, if you play it, it's just gonna fade in, and it's also gonna scale it up. But the one thing about scaling is it's scaling from the point which has this circle with like four lines. So what you have to do is you need to actually bring it to the center of this. So how you can do that is you can go to paragraph and you make it center so that this becomes like centered here, but still it's down here. So what you can do is you see the anchor point here, you just bring the anchor point to the center. Now if you play this, this is gonna scale in from the center. So you can basically manipulate that too, but this is like way too slow. I'm just gonna make it faster. So I'm just gonna bring these like even closer. And maybe like I make it come when the car turns. So that's like a very basic animation, you know. Basically you can do anything with this. And if you want to do like a little bit more advanced animation, you can see the text thing here, and you say like it says animate, and you have all these kind of different settings which you can use to like animate. But this is like a whole another section which I have to cover, and it's gonna take a longer time. So I'll do this specific text animation in like a different video, but this is more of an advanced way to animate text other than just like using just the transform settings here. You can even use like more settings, like, you know, skew, scale, and you can combine 2 or 3 things together, you know, and then actually make like motion graphics kind of animation. So another thing is I can just show you guys like the blending mode. So right now we have the text layer on top and the video on the bottom, so it's normal right now. So what I can do is I can just do like a multiply, and it shows like different result, you know, just like how you want it to blend with the bottom layer. So if you see like add or lighten or screen or something like that, I don't know if you guys can see, but it's just like a little bit transparent. It's not technically transparent, it's just how the formula works for like each thing. You can see like each one gives like a different result. You can use this once in a while. As you can see, like you would have seen this kind of thing, like usually these things they use it for like watermarks, you know, where it comes like, you know, throughout the video, but it's kind of transparent, but it's not transparent. Like it just looks like a color correction just on the text. So you get like different results like with each thing. You can like play with this too. This is also something that I use, like not all the time, but like sometimes. Yeah, but this always affects like the layer should be on top. You can always use it on the top layer, because if you use it on the bottom layer, there's nothing below it under that. So it's most of the time it goes like black or something like that, you know, and most of the time you won't see any result because there's nothing under it to blend. So you usually if you want to use it on something, it should be on top, or there should be something underneath that. So it can, you know, basically what it does is let me give an example. So normal is just like putting it on top. So we see here like each pixel has like a value, right? So if I hover my cursor here, you can see here like it shows the color value. So this is like complete white, so everything shows like 235. So what happens is, it's basically, if I do like difference, what it does is it's just showing the difference between the white and whatever is behind that, which kind of gives like a negative feeling, where you get like, you know, negatives with like the older cameras. So it's basically like, it's not a subtract technically, but it's kind of showing the difference. And if I put subtract, is there a subtract? Yeah. If I put subtract, it's just gonna subtract everything. It's just gonna subtract the underneath stuff from this. So because it's completely white, it's just gonna show black. It's kind of tricky to understand, but yeah, I usually just don't follow the formulas or anything. I just try to get like a good result, and you know, maybe like, you know, something like this. Sometimes I want things like this, so I don't have to go and adjust any settings or color corrector or anything. You know, I just put the blending mode to this and it works fine. As you can see, like, this looks good. So you can use it here and there. It's a nice tool. And guys, just the last thing before we go, just to like save a project, how to save it. Like, it's not something like I have to show you guys. It's like file save like any other application in Windows. So yeah, I'm just gonna save this for later. So yeah, that's how you save it, and you can just hit Control S whenever you want to save it. So yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. There'll be more videos coming like on specific topics, as I said before, but this is just to give you guys an intro about After Effects and give you guys an idea of how After Effects work. So yeah, I hope this video was useful. Many people did ask me to do this, so I've started, and I will post tutorials regularly after this. And so if you guys liked it and if it was helpful, please do like, share, comment on the video, subscribe to the channel, and also don't forget to press the bell icon so get advertised when I post more videos. So that's it for this tutorial. I'll see you guys with another tutorial on another topic. Till then, it's Manish. Bye bye. Thank you.